wanted to make a video today where I just explore my own feelings about tarot and about spirituality. And I think tarot for me is what I was put here to do. It took me a long time to discover it, but it's very evident to me that having been guided to create this deck, so many things came out of it for me about tarot being a spiritual path, not just a means of telling the future, not just a means of doing curiosity readings, but a way of making a real difference. Because tarot does make a real difference if we allow it to. So I think tarot is changing. Well, not tarot itself, I think the way we see tarot is changing. The way we use tarot is very definitely changing. It's becoming a way in which we connect into spirit, in which we talk to spirit. It's a language that we can use to have a conversation with our energetic guides. It's a way of connecting to our higher self or our energetic selves and finding out the truth about our path, about the path we're on. It's a really interesting way of going below the surface and shining a light so that we can find the answers to the questions that we really want to ask. And just by studying tarot, just by finding out about its architecture, about how it works, we start to see life differently, and it's incredibly exciting. Tarot says, I can solve that for you, and it will. It walks beside us. It won't do the job for us, but it gives us information in a really clear and interesting way. And it does that by encouraging us to ask more questions. And that's what I find so amazing about it. Now, if we look at any of the other big spiritual books, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, any of those texts, and wonderful though they are, they don't so much encourage us to ask questions. They're asking us to follow a set of rules, and they're telling us these are the rules and we must follow them. And in tarot we're given the Hierophant card, which says yes, there is higher learning to be found in those books, but all of the information is within us. Spirituality and God are within us. While it's interesting and informative to understand what those books have to offer, tarot tells us it is by questioning, and it is by questioning ourselves, that we really come to the deeper truths about life and about ourselves. Tarot wants to help. It's the only spiritual book there is that not only gives us an instruction manual, but encourages us to question and also answers those questions, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. So working with tarot has really blown my life apart. It's caused me to look at life in a completely different way. And if you're at all interested in spirituality or philosophy or the deeper truths to life, then tarot is the most amazing way of exploring that further. Because when we go in and we start asking the right questions, we start getting some very, very interesting answers. I met a woman just literally yesterday who was very keen to share with me a story about her very first tarot reading. And this happens a lot when you read tarot. People want to say, oh, I had a tarot reading once and this amazing thing happened and it's incredible and I've remembered it ever since. But most of the time those stories talk about somebody who has told them something which proved to be true, but isn't actually any use to them. And this lady told me a story about how the reader told her that she saw her working in a big house. She was helping someone in this big house, but there was an enemy in the camp, and that would cause her a lot of suffering and it would be quite difficult. She told me the story of how she was working in this house, caring for this very elderly lady, and how one of the other carers had criticized her and reported her for malpractice, and she was saying none of this was true, and the woman was just basically just being very negative. But the point for her was that this resonated with this reading that she'd had many years ago, and this brought that reading to life. And that's great, but what good is it? It didn't help her. It didn't give her any actual information. So we can use tarot to look down the path and we can see things which will come to fruition, but they're no earthly use to us unless we start asking questions. I myself was given a reading many years ago when I was married to my first husband, and I had a little tarot reading by a lady at a fair who told me that I would be moving across water and I'd be going backwards and forwards across water for work. And I asked her, well, will we own our own house? And she said, well, it's complicated, kinda. And so what actually happened was my husband and I moved to Chepstow and we went back and forward across the Severn Bridge, and we had bought a share of a large house with my parents and my grandfather. And so we all lived there like the Waltons. So the reading was right, but it wasn't helpful because it didn't give me any information as to whether this would be a good thing to do or not. It just told me this would happen. I was kind of hoping it was America, but it wasn't. So the thing is that we must use tarot wisely. We must use it as a way of looking into ourselves, looking into the energetic realm, so that we can make our lives better. And that's the point, and that's what Spirit wants for us. They want us to have a conversation so that we can raise our vibrational presence in this world, so that we can make it better, so we can improve our experience. Because when we improve our experience, we become richer, we become happier. Our experience of life becomes richer and happier, and as a result, guess what? We make life richer and happier for those that know us, because we always are influenced and influence the people that we are energetically linked to, the people that we are in our lives with. We change the world that way. And that's what I have been told Spirit wants us to use tarot for, to change the world, one person at a time. And it's very exciting. And we start with ourselves and then we move the energy out. So I hope that's interesting. If you want to learn more about tarot, just talk to me. I have different ways in which we could work together and I can help you with that. I'm very passionate about helping people learn to use tarot in ways which affect their lives positively. Not just about doing readings, although that's part of it, but learning to use tarot in a wider context, in a way that's actually useful, so that we can walk a spiritual path informed by the philosophy of tarot and the wisdom and the kindness and the compassion that it encourages within us. I hope that's been interesting and useful. If you like the channel, please do like and subscribe, but also let me know your thoughts about tarot and spirituality and your experiences. Let's have a conversation about that. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.